Hello. Look what I've got here. I've got a beautiful edition of the proceedings of the sixth biennial National Ordo Templi Orientis Conference that was held in Salem, Massachusetts back in August of 2007. It was wonderful. And the people, the OTO hosts in Salem, just had a wonderfully organized and beautiful event. And Constance and I stayed at the Hawthorne Hotel, which is old and it was great. Okay, and I must say that all of the Notacons are great. I've been to all of them and presented at all of them, from Akron to hopefully, if my plane gets me there safely tomorrow, to Denver. I'm going to share with you. I've been crazy busy trying to write my and get my slides together and everything else for my talk on Sunday. So I haven't been. I've been very distracted lately. Well, actually, I'm not distracted. I've been focused. But anyway, I would like to read you a portion of my talk for this Notacon, whose theme was beauty and strength. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because every Notacon, which is held every 2 years, they book me for the lunch, so because everybody's all together and in one spot, so it's sort of where I could get them all. It's a captive audience. Everybody wants to eat, and so I talk after everybody is sated and burping. Anyway, here's my theme, and every year, well, it takes about 2 years, our good friend and brother puts together this collection of all of the presentations of and publishes it in this beautiful, beautiful book. And there's a hardbound edition too. They're kind of hard to get, but they're gorgeous. So in probably 2 years, there'll be a book with my talk in it too. Hopefully, if there's a world left. To beauty and strength we must add wisdom is the name of my talk. By Lon Milo DuQuette, U.S. Deputy Grand Master General. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Once again, it is my honor and pleasure to be here at Notacon and have the opportunity to speak in front of a room full of people who, like myself, have accepted as their holy prophet a man who climbed the highest mountains and mounted the highest climbers. A poet whose immortal songs rang with words never before enshrined in English verse, words that roll off the tongue like diarrhea and gleet and splutter. Now, you have to sort of know Crowley's more colorful writings to have that make sense. A big game hunter who once shot a lion in his pajamas. How the lion got in his pajamas? A hash smoking, ether sniffing, coke snorting, smack shooting transvestite secret agent Freemason. also master of the temple, magus, ipsissimus, priest of the princes, and logos of the aeon. I love my religion. Noticons are wonderful because they give us all an opportunity to get a taste of what a thelemic heaven and hell might be like. A blissful, nostalgic gathering of old warrior magicians and new friends, talking, feasting, and drinking for 3 days, while our lonely cats back home are shitting on the carpet and pissing on our best books. As we all know, the theme of this year's Noticon is beauty and strength. Because the words beauty and strength are sometimes used to identify 2 of the 3 pillars of the tree of life, I thought it'd be most appropriate and balanced if I were to adopt as the theme of my talk the 3rd pillar of the tree, sometimes identified as the pillar of wisdom. It looks so good on paper. To beauty and strength, we must add wisdom. Now, hang on just a second. I'm going to recheck my sound here because I forgot to at the beginning. Hang on, hang on. I was right. I was right. Can you hear me better now? I'm not going to start over, don't worry. To beauty and strength, we must add wisdom. It looked good on paper. I even had a tidy little teaser for it, and it went like this. The OTO ceased to be a Masonic organization nearly 100 years ago. Nevertheless, Crowley was, and we still are, inspired by great Masonic principles that for hundreds of years have served as a pre-echo of Thelema. One of the most important illustrations of the Masonic craft is that of the 3 pillars, known as the 3 great supports of the temple: wisdom, strength, and beauty. It being necessary that there should be wisdom to contrive, strength to support, and beauty to adorn all great and important undertakings. For our great order to survive and flourish, we are going to have to guilefully cultivate not only our strength and beauty, but also wisdom. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And really, I had the noblest intentions when I submitted it to the committee. But to tell you the truth, I'm probably the least qualified person in the whole order to be talking about wisdom. If I really wanted to be honest, I would have to title my talk, "To Beauty and Strength, We Must Add Luck." I'm not a wise man. I'm a lucky man. To my tree of life should be added a 4th pillar, the pillar of luck. To the mystic formulas of INRI and LVX and NOX, I must add the 5 letters of the Latin word meaning lucky: Felix. Felix. Because even though my life might appear to be characterized by a series of wise actions and decisions, it is in reality merely peppered by freakish moments of unbelievable good luck. In the East, they would call my lifestyle that of a householder. I'm married and have for my entire adult life endeavored with varying degrees of success to provide a loving and stable environment for my family. Things have worked out pretty well. But not because I'm wise, for in truth, throughout the years I've been lucky to have a sainted wife and beloved son who provided me with a loving and stable environment. I wasn't acting wisely 41 years ago. Well, this is now 56 years ago. when I took far too much LSD out in Joshua Tree National Monument and vowed to the multiple rising suns that I would not return from the desert until I was a holy man. Later that same day, it wasn't wisdom that oozed like melting psychedelic wax down the wallpaper of that little bar in Costa Mesa as I pondered the nature of space-time and suddenly realized the unescapable rightness of spending the rest of my life with Constance Olson, my high school sweetheart. And it wasn't wisdom that sent me careening past the pool table to the payphone by the pinball machine and call her in Nebraska and ask her to marry me. I think, however, it was wise that I waited until our 20th anniversary to confess I proposed to her while frying my brains out on acid. Fate, coupled with a conspicuous lack of ambition, has conspired to make our lifestyle one of genteel poverty. Well, not always so genteel. Now remember, this was 14 years ago before we rudely uprooted and but I won't complain. We've never owned a house, a new car, or a credit card. On the other hand, we've always lived in moderately affluent communities. We still do. And safe neighborhoods. We still do. We've always owned old cars. I think I drive the same car today that I drove 17 years ago. And usually that usually gets us where we're going. Our bills consist exclusively of rent, the utilities, and health insurance. Yeah, same thing. Our only expenses are groceries and gasoline. We are perpetually indebted to dear friends and brethren who for treasures of love and support. Such kindness has allowed us to come to Noticon this year. But compared to our Costa Mesa neighbors, we have no debts to speak of. Some people say that's a miracle. I agree. Miracles are part of my job. I'm a magician, and I'm lucky. Naturally, I haven't always considered myself a magician, but for as long as I can remember, I've been a seeker. I don't want you to project any undue piety upon this statement. I am as wicked as anyone who seldom breaks any criminal or civil statutes can be. But even as I wallow in my dark and lazy wickedness, I find myself again and again stumbling inadvertently toward the light. As a magician, I've also been extraordinarily lucky. Early in my career, I was befriended and many times guided by some very wonderful magicians to whom I owe immeasurable debt. Francis Regarde, Phyllis Seckler, Helen Parsons Smith, and Grady L. McMurtry. I've also collaborated with others who have enlarged and enriched my magical life. Foremost among these is my wife, Constance, who is the greatest natural magician I will ever know. There are many others as well. Karen James, whose profound sense of beauty and passion for the art of dramatic ritual kept alive the mysteries of Eleusis. Douglas James, William Breeze, James Wasserman, Jeffrey Price, Content Knowles, Bob Stein, Steve Abbott, Leroy Lauer, David Wilson, John Sandifer, Chris Hyatt, Poke Runyon, and for the last 29 years, the assembled magicians of our Monday Night Magic class. On my 40th birthday, I began to write professionally. In this vocation, I've also been exceedingly lucky. Those of you who are familiar with the body of my work know that I'm occasionally taken to task by knowledgeable critics who accuse me of writing for beginners and who chide me for diluting or oversimplifying complex and esoteric concepts. Again, these charges I can say very little in my defense except to confess that I am truly a simple man who, by conventional academic standards, is a lazy and undisciplined student. I have to learn anecdotally. I need to put things in a personal context. I need to appreciate and understand the general before I can be thrilled and inspired by the specifics. I'm proud to write for beginning students of magic. But first and foremost, I write to explain things to myself. I write to find out what I know. I write books that I wish I could have studied during the first 5 or 10 years of my magical studies. Books that might have saved me years of frustration, blind alleys, and wheel spinning. I also like to think that I write for more advanced students who may find themselves entangled in the elegance of magical minutiae, or else have become so entranced and self-impressed with their encyclopedic memories that they've lost sight of why they are involved in magic in the first place. Know anyone like that? Obviously, one of the luckiest freak accidents in my life was my introduction to the Book of the Law and my involvement in OTO. It wasn't wisdom that brought it into my life. It was luck. Now, I have a great deal more to say in that, but that's all I'm going to share with you today. Tomorrow, I will be coming to you, hopefully, if I can get my phone out and if my phone works and things like that, I'll be coming to you from the road on my way to Denver. So until tomorrow, hopefully, continue to be good to yourself. Be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. And I hope you get lucky.